Our next guest is an Emmy and Tony award-winning actor who most recently starred in the incredible HBO series Lovecraft Country. Now he's sharing his experience with mental health to help many others who may be suffering. Please welcome Courtney B. Vance. Hey!
Hey, everyone.
Vance!
Hey.
Hi! You know what? I haven't seen you and Angela and the children since like Pantages Theater. We went to one of the plays there. That was the last time. How are they? How's everybody?
They're wonderful. Everyone is fine. We're staying close to home and being very intentional about making sure we stay in the bubble. And their birthday is tomorrow. Their 15th birthday.
Happy birthday! Nice.
That's great.
That's awesome.
Courtney, it is always great to see you. Now, we will be discussing mental health in a bit, but first, you and I both have twins, and I heard that yours have a lot of chores around the house. Now, I want to know what chores they're responsible for, and do they get an allowance? And I hope my kids aren't listening.
That's a lot of questions. The question, the intentional question is, yes, they have chores. We had chores growing up. My sister and I split up the house. And it's teaching you so that when you leave the house, you can't say we didn't know how to take care of a house. So they vacuum, they wash the dishes. We have a dishwasher, but we've got 2 human dishwashers. They have to keep their space clean. We recycle. So Braun, that's her job to make sure the recycler, the bottles and cans and things go to the recycle bins. Slater has to take out put the blue recycle bin out to the street on the day that it's supposed to happen. The garbage goes out by him. Brown has to make sure that all the toilet paper around the house is the containers are filled. And they have to keep their rooms straight. The biggest job to keep your room straight,
right.
homie. They clean that bathroom. Lift up before you put that toilet seat down. Slater, you got to wipe that rim.
There you go.
Wow, you are not playing.
The detail, I appreciate that.
And they wash the cars. That's where they get their allowances from. They wash. So if you wash those cars several times a week,
put them to work.
a couple times a week, you can do pretty well. So it's on them. If they don't want to wash the cars, they ain't get no money.
You know what?
That part.
You are great. That's great. We always love seeing you on the big and small screen. And coming up next, you will star in the anthology series Genius, Aretha, about Aretha Franklin. What can you tell us about it? I'm excited about this.
I had no idea that she had such a traumatizing childhood. Her mother and father separated when she was 10. And the children stayed with the father, which was highly unusual back then for a black or a white family. And the mother they were in Detroit, the mother went to Buffalo, and then I believe 2 years later or a year later, she mysteriously died. And so Miss Aretha at 12 years old or 11 years old was traumatized to the point where she didn't speak for a year. So I had no idea about these things, and that, and then in order for her to get she wanted to be a star. In order to get his daughter speaking, he took her on the gospel circuit, which was a very sexualized environment for a 12-year-old, and of course she got pregnant at 12, and then got pregnant at 15, and. So all those strikes against her, they did very well because he did very well as a pastor. The city of Detroit lifted him up, and New Bethel took very good care of their pastor. But all pastors, most pastors,
you're playing
time
Reverend C.L. Franklin, correct?
C.L. Franklin had some issues. I think everyone, all of us, all of our relatives at that time period, had issues coming up from being sharecroppers in the South and coming up to the North and trying to make a way. So it impacted Aretha intensely. And she, despite that, fought through. Took her 7 years to break through and get her first hit. But she crossed from faith-based into secular music and made that transition. And the rest is her story.
Sure.
We cannot wait to see this movie. I know the performances are going to be incredible.